So here's the equation we have to solve. The first step we're going to do is we're going to find a common factor for the numerator, and we can find that it's q. We're going to factor q out of each of these terms, so after factoring q out from the first one we get q squared, minus 14 stays the same. We factor out q from q squared, we just get q, and plus 49. Okay. So now we're also going to factor out a q from the denominator, so you get q squared, this is supposed to be 49q, q squared minus 49. So as you can see, the top is a perfect square trinomial because the first term and the third term are both perfect squares. The bottom number is a difference of perfect squares, as you can see, because these both numbers have been squared. What we're going to do is that we're going to further simplify these, put them in factored form. Start with the numerator. So this is the standard form equation in the form ax squared plus bx plus c. Normally if we wanted to factor this, we would multiply the a value times the c value, but since we don't have a coefficient before q, we can just work with 49. So we need to find two numbers that when you multiply them, they're going to equal to positive 49, and when you add or subtract them, they equal to minus 14. So the factors that come to mind are minus 7 and minus 7. So all you have to do is split the b term in half, write the equation out as normal, and all you're going to do is write this as minus 7q minus 7q. So your next step is that you're going to group these. You're going to factor by grouping. Out of these two terms, we can factor out a q, and we're left with q minus 7. Same for here, we can factor out a minus 7, and we're left with q minus 7. Or you could write it as q times q minus 7 squared, but for the sake of putting it back into the equation, keeping it in vertex form, we're going to use this version. So the next equation we're going to be dealing with is the one in the denominator. So this is a difference of perfect squares. This is like a squared plus b squared. So we can write this as a minus b squared, or in this case q minus, and then square root this. Square root of 49 is 7, and then square it. As you can see, these two are the exact same. This is the form we're going to be plugging into the equation. Okay, so now we're going to plug this back in. Q. Okay, so now we're supposed to divide these. Normally, we are told to divide by crossing out the like terms. So these are like terms, these are like terms, and these are like terms. And we're left with a final answer, 1 over 1, which is also equal to just 1. Okay, so this equation is equivalent to this equation, with the exception that we have to add some restrictions to it because our x value cannot equal to 0. Yeah. And that's how you solve this equation.